Okay, hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be doing part 3 for what if Naruto knew every jutsu. Now you guys kept saying stuff like, what about Senjutsu? Doesn't he have Sage Mode? And another person was like, you keep nerfing Naruto, like he should be a lot stronger. And at this point, I gotta give it. I am literally, in this episode of the What If, I am just gonna make Naruto extremely overpowered. And also, one more thing. When I get to 500 subs, I may or may not be doing a competition with Harry Fox himself. But I won't spoil too much. Just make sure to subscribe. And yeah, let's get right into the video. Okay, so last time we left off, Naruto and the team had just come back from the Land of the Waves arc, and now Kakashi was telling them about the tuning exams. And of course, since they had no reason not to, they all accepted and decided to go and, join the tuning exams. Now, Kakashi told them that they had 1 week to train, so they should use it well. And Naruto didn't really need to train. All he needed to do was scan through all the abilities he had to, pick out a certain few. Now, first off is Sage Mode. Now, you guys might be like, oh my god, he has Sage Mode? This is going to be OP. Why? Because it is going to be OP. And there's going to be others of you saying, doesn't he have to, learn Sage Mode? Doesn't that take a while? And have you read the title of this video? This is what if Naruto knew every jutsu. And Sage Mode, which is a type of Senjutsu, is a type of jutsu. So deal with it. I'm just going to give him everything that he can possibly have, right? And I'm saying this because, why Toad Sage exactly? Because, believe it or not, Hagoromo was a Toad Sage. So, since Naruto got his knowledge from Hagoromo, it only makes sense. So Naruto picks out Toad Sage Mode and all the Toad Sage abilities, and he gets Rasengan. He kind of trains his Sharingan just to make sure it's because he unlocked the Sharingan last What If. And do I just make it too Tomoe? Yeah, Naruto is literally just so powerful that he forces his... Don't ask how this is possible, but he literally forces... He's so powerful that he forces his Sharingan into evolving. That is Naruto's power level right now, right? He can literally force his Sharingan into evolving into a 2 Tomoe Sharingan, right? And not only that, but Naruto also decides to talk with Kurama. And, they start talking a bit. And although Kurama is at first adamant about not talking to Naruto, he decides to, by the end of the week, Naruto can get a few words out of him, at least. Now, this is when it's time for the tuning exams. And Naruto and Team 7 heads off over to the tuning exams area, and everyone on the team immediately sees the genjutsu and walks straight by it. This is when Rock Lee comes up and challenges Sasuke or Naruto, both of them. And Naruto, being the smart person he is, just tells Sasuke that they can fight later, and if Rock Lee is truly worth fighting, he will make it to the final stage, and then they can fight there. And so Team 7 moves on. Now this is when they make it over to oh my god, I keep saying the first part of the tuning exams, where they meet none other than Ibiki. Now, Ibiki introduces them to the quiz test exam, the written portion of the exam, and everyone starts groaning while Naruto is just smirking, saying, "Wow, really? This is gonna be easy." Because Naruto does have the knowledge of the Sage of Six Paths, so guess what? Naruto is a genius. Like, he is the smartest man alive. He's smarter than Shikamaru. He's smarter than Ibiki, okay? This man is just too smart, right? So Naruto literally breezes through the exam, doesn't even need to cheat. And not only that, but he actually uses a fire-style jutsu, but a very light one, right? That can make slight sparks on stuff, okay? And you might be saying, why does he want to make slight sparks of fire on something? That is because he's going to use that fire to write on Sakura and Sasuke's papers. So what he does is he literally, using that fire, writes answers on Sasuke and Sakura's papers to help them pass. So he literally writes in fire to help them. Anyways, after that, Ibiki announces the 10th question, with Naruto obviously staying, and then Ibiki's like, "Yeah, you remember when I said there's a 10th question? Forget that. That was all tactical deception, so haha, you got fooled," or whatever. And this is when Anko blasts in through the window and is like, "Okay, everybody, meet me at the Forest of Death." And everybody's like, "Oh, who is this person again?" And Ibiki's like, there is a door for a reason. But Anko literally just ignores him, and everybody heads off to the Forest of Death for the second part of the Chunin exams. So when Team 7 arrives at the Forest of Death, Anko explains all the rules, saying how, they're allowed to kill, and so they're also allowed to die, which is why they'll have to sign these forms that makes them, say they're fine with dying. And she explains how there's going to be 2 scrolls, and you're going to get 1 scroll, and you have to go and get the other one. Now, Team 7 is totally fine with this, as they sign the contracts or whatever, and they head off into the forest. Now, Naruto makes sure to throw a flying Raijin mark all the way to... So he just takes out his flying Raijin kunais, right? And he uses his incredible... he throws it as far as he can, and then makes it go even further using wind style to push it further through the air. And then he also puts a flying Raijin seal at where they started, just in case they have to get out of there in an emergency situation, so they can just teleport away, right? And so they start heading off. Now, Naruto, being an incredibly good sensory ninja, right? I feel like this gets excluded in a lot of what ifs, like the whole, sensing aspect of everything. But Naruto is an incredibly good sensory ninja where he can just sense chakra signatures from miles away. And Naruto activates his Sharingan without letting Sasuke see, because he knows that Sasuke would get very confused, especially after Kakashi already revealed his Sharingan, to see that Naruto also has a Sharingan. So he just makes sure that Sasuke can't see it, as he blasts himself up using a wind style thing to just blast himself off the ground, and looks around trying to see any chakra from any possible team, as he spots one team that seems to be heading towards them. Now, Naruto, immediately spotting them, decides that, okay, well, this is gonna work, as he tells everyone to just follow him, as they all run with him, trying to catch up to this team. And when they arrive, they see them. This is just a team of, hidden mist ninjas that are literally not even important to the story, except for the fact that they just exist for the sole purpose of being defeated. That's why they exist. That's their purpose in life. exactly. But anyways, that happens, and Naruto, the instant he sees them, they're like, oh, okay, they'll get into their fighting stances and they're ready to fight and everything, when Naruto literally just puts them all into a genjutsu, right? They just fall into a genjutsu, as to them it seems like Naruto is just standing there, but then the genjutsu kind of fades away as they kind of snap back to reality, and they feel they just can't move. This is the genjutsu that Naruto placed on them, and because he knows every jutsu, he is a freaking genjutsu god, right? I mean, Naruto is just completely OP, so it's not even fair at this point, and Naruto just puts them all under a genjutsu and just takes their scroll. And by the time those people manage to even like regain their ability to move, they are already like not very injured, just Naruto cut them with a kunai perfectly in those spots that help them move their limbs, so they have decreased control over their limbs now, and they also lost their scroll. So yeah. And to Naruto and Team 7's luck, this was just the scroll they were looking for, and now they were just trying to run over to the building. But along the way, Naruto immediately sensed a chakra signature that was way too powerful for a genin, as he told everyone to stop, as they all went into hiding and Naruto approached the clearing. As from the clearing came a man who was licking his lips, saying, "Sasuke, I sense he is here. Where have you hidden him?" As Sasuke's at first thinking, like, how does he know my name? But Naruto's just like, Orochimaru. And Orochimaru is shocked, being like, but how? You shouldn't be able to see through my disguise. As Naruto's like, yeah, well, it wasn't that hard. As Orochimaru's like, well, there's no point in this disguise now, is there? As he just takes off his skin, revealing his true form, being Orochimaru, one of the 3 legendary Sannin. And Naruto just looks at him saying, "You're not doing anything to Sasuke." As Orochimaru's just like, "Yeah? Who said that?" And Naruto's like, "Me." And Orochimaru's like, "Ha, you know who I am, and yet you still think you can challenge me? You idiots." As Orochimaru immediately rushes in at Naruto with full speed, mind you, and literally just like takes off Naruto's head, right? Straight up beheads Naruto. As Orochimaru's like, "Ha, idiots." As he looks back and sees that Naruto's body just crumbled to a bunch of dirt. As he's like, what? How? Genjutsu? As suddenly Naruto pops up from behind him, throwing a kunai immediately at him, as Orochimaru barely dodges out of the way. But little does he know, this is a flying Raijin kunai, as Naruto teleports to the kunai that is now behind Orochimaru. As after teleporting to him, after teleporting to the kunai, he immediately activates a Rasengan as he slams it into Orochimaru, and then he activates Sage Mode. And suddenly, after seeing Naruto activate Sage Mode, Orochimaru starts feeling fear for the first time in a long time, looking at Naruto's death stare, staring as if he was staring into his soul. As Orochimaru got up and said, "This kid thinks he can beat me," as he pulls out his Kusanagi blade, I think it's called, and runs in at Naruto. But little does he know, he doesn't even stand a chance. Like, this guy is Naruto is like this, knows every jutsu, and there are some really OP jutsus out there. as he also activates his Sharingan, which creates a one-to-moe pattern around his Sage Mode eyes, as Orochimaru, before he can even react, Naruto body flickers and goes behind Orochimaru, kicking him into the ground, and then says, Ice style, demonic ice mirrors, as he creates... Actually, should I do that? Do I let him have every Kekkei Genkai? You know what? No, because I said that if he doesn't have that Kekkei Genkai, he can't do it, right? Yeah, okay. He's not that OP, okay? But he's still OP, as Naruto literally uses the... It's called... I don't know what it's called, but it's the infinite paper bomb jutsu, where Tobirama used this in the Great Shinobi War, where he launched one paper bomb, but that paper bomb, when it exploded, turned into 2 paper bombs, and those 2 paper bombs exploded and turned into 4 paper bombs, and so on and so forth, creating almost like an infinitely large explosion, as Naruto just slapped that paper bomb onto Orochimaru. And before Naruto could also get like completely obliterated in the like 1 mile radius of that explosion, Naruto just dashed straight at Sasuke and Sakura, grabbing them and teleported to his flying Raijin seal that he had placed. Remember when I said he threw a flying Raijin kunai just in case of an emergency so they could teleport to the kunai? Yeah, exactly. That's when he's going to use it, as he just teleports to the kunai and gets Sasuke and Sakura to safety. As the instant Naruto teleports them, and before Sasuke and Sakura can ask a thing, they hear a huge explosion sounding like fireworks but 10 times louder from behind them, and Sasuke and Sakura don't even question it, as Naruto brings them to the end of the area, like the place you go when you finish the exams, at full speed, and they pass, almost breaking a record, but not quite, because Minato's record was still faster than them, because he didn't have to face before Orochimaru, but they were extremely fast, right? Anyways, after all of that is said and done, the weird guy who keeps coughing for no explained reason ends up showing up. He shows up, and he explains that there are going to be preliminary rounds. And Naruto, hearing this, is like, well, slight inconvenience, but it's fine. I can deal with this. As, the proctor announces the matches, and first is Naruto versus Kiba. As Kiba's like, finally, this is a great opportunity. I can finally prove my strength against Naruto and show how powerful I've become. As Kiba is saying that, right? And the proctor says go, as Kiba is staring at Naruto, and Naruto, from what Kiba sees, is just standing there, as he's like, what is he even doing? Don't get cocky, Naruto. As he's about to start running at Naruto, when Naruto shows up from under his feet using, I think it's called the head under jutsu, I don't know, the one where you go underground and pop up from there. Yeah, he uses that and literally drags Kiba into the ground, getting him stuck. And then his clone that he made to distract Kiba, making him think he was actually staying there, literally ran at Kiba and used a water prison jutsu to just trap Kiba and just make a threat to not trap Kiba, trap Akamaru, right? He trapped Akamaru, Kiba's dog, and Kiba was stuck underground, right? But his head was out so he could see. As the clone of Naruto said, listen, I have your dog trapped in this water prison, and if you don't admit defeat, your dog will suffocate and die. As Kiba, hearing this, has no choice but to give up. Now, all the matches after this go the exact same as in canon, as we now have a 1-month training period. And Naruto decides that during this 1-month training period, he will treat himself to some time in the hot springs. As when he's heading over, he sees this white-haired man staring into the, just doing his research, quote unquote. But Naruto walks up to the guy and he's like, "What are you doing, you pervert?" And Jiraiya's like, "Shh, I'm doing my research. I'm gonna make them notice me. Be quiet." As Naruto's like, "Wait, Jiraiya?" As Naruto's like, Jiraiya looks at Naruto as he's like, in his head, he's like, "Wait, Naruto?" And they just both recognize each other for a moment as Naruto's like, they just have like an awkward moment where neither of them knows what to say. And Naruto's like, "Well, Jiraiya, you're one of the legendary Sannin, right? Well, I may or may not have already faced off against Orochimaru, so I want to see how my skills are like against you." As Jiraiya's like, "Whoa, slow down there, kid. You faced off against Orochimaru and survived?" Well, honestly, first I'll teach you some things, and at the end of our training, maybe I'll let you spar with me. As Naruto's like, as a slight smirk appears under his face, and they head off to training. The first thing they do is Jiraiya teaches Naruto the summoning jutsu, and after doing the whole blood signature thing, Naruto summons Gamabunta on his first attempt, and then also desummons him. He's like, "Yeah, that was easy. Do you have anything harder?" As Jiraiya's just shocked, as he's like, he's about to be like, "Okay, well, we can try the Rasengan." As he's about to demonstrate, before he can even demonstrate, Naruto activates the Rasengan, and Jiraiya's just like, "But how? You're not supposed to know that jutsu. How? That was the fourth Hokage's jutsu." As Naruto is like, "Yeah, well, I know it, so deal with it." As Jiraiya's like, "What other jutsu do you know?" As Naruto throws a kunai at Jiraiya, right? And this is a flying Raijin kunai Jiraiya doesn't notice this, but he dodges the kunai, and Naruto teleports to the kunai behind him and catches the kunai, holding the kunai to Jiraiya's neck, and says, "I know a lot of jutsu, a lot more than you'd guess. Why don't we spar and I'll show you?" As Jiraiya's like, "Whoa, chill, okay, yeah, we can do that." As Naruto releases the kunai, being like, "Okay, good." As Jiraiya in his head is like, "What is this kid? He knows the flying Raijin as well? He must be some sort of crazy prodigy." And anyways, Naruto and Jiraiya both get into their positions to start sparring, and Naruto immediately, right off the bat, activates his Sage mode. As Jiraiya's like, "Nah, that's not possible. He has Sage mode?" Did Minato come back from the dead and teach him or something? This is physically not possible. As Naruto rushes at Jiraiya, sending a series of fireballs in Jiraiya's direction. And Jiraiya tries to counter with a water-style jutsu, and it does work. It overpowers Naruto's fire style and goes straight at Naruto, but Naruto blocks it with a mud wall as he goes underground and pops up from underneath Jiraiya, who barely jumps out the way, dodging the attack. And Naruto comes out of the ground just using a lightning style projectile attack, sending it straight at Jiraiya. as Jiraiya barely manages to dodge, actually getting like a slight cut on the side of his body. And right as that is happening, a mud clone of Naruto comes up from behind Jiraiya, kicking him, and throws a flying Raijin kunai as the real Naruto teleports to it and throws it at Jiraiya, with Jiraiya barely being able to dodge. And he genuinely cannot keep up, right? Naruto is literally just outclassing him in every category, as he tries to use his hair jutsu, you know, the thing where Jiraiya makes his hair all spiky and sends it at his opponent, and Naruto literally counters with the same jutsu, using the same jutsu that Jiraiya used against him, as Naruto's jutsu almost overpowers Jiraiya. And all Naruto does is, fine, getting a little bored, guess I'll have to use it, as he weaves hand signs and says, oh my god, I don't know what it's called. It's like the Majestic Flames Fire Jutsu. You know that thing that Madara uses when he shows up at the Great Shinobi War and he just destroys everyone with a humongous fire jutsu? Yeah, he uses that. And even though Naruto does try to counter with a water style, he gets absolutely destroyed and knocked out. And he does wake up eventually, and Naruto and Jiraiya train together for the rest of Naruto's 1 month period. And during this training time, Naruto explains his powers to Jiraiya, explaining everything and how he got them. And Jiraiya, hearing this, is surprised, but he tries to see how Naruto can improve this power, as he says, okay, and starts coming up with a bunch of ideas that Naruto can increase his power. And although this is hard, he does come up with something. And by the end of this training period, Naruto has mastered no hand sign jutsus. So he can perform hand sign jutsus without having to create hand signs, just like the Sage of Six Paths himself. And now Naruto is finally ready. Well, he was always ready, but it is finally time for the final part of the Chunin exams. But that is where I'm gonna have to end this video off. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'm so close to 500 subscribers, so just please do make sure to subscribe. And yeah, with that, see you next time. Goodbye.